Hello everybody, good morning, and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne, and disembodied hands, Justin, and Quindy, and John, oh my. How are you all? Hey, it's my last day before I dive headlong into the craziness and stress of, traveling and moving. So I have a very, very long to-do list today after this stream. Clavicus, thank you! 16 months! Wow. Wowee. such subscribe. Had to do a doge this morning. Alrighty. I'm here. I'm more or less here. I don't know if I'm all here though, Olfin. All right. So yeah, we got a glowy circle thing. We got a glowy circle thing to do today. Glowy circle thing. Oh, not never nervous. Actually, just stressed, Nomad Zeke. It's like, yeah, excited. I'm excited to be in the new house. This is, you know how moving works. You're excited to be in the new place, but getting to the new place is a pain in the butt. So, I'm never nervous about the move. I don't own enough stuff that's fragile, or valuable to be really nervous about the move. And I move all the miniatures myself, and those are the fragile, valuable things. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to being in a house again. And in this house. So, maybe I'll have to, take my phone and just do a quick video for the Patreon about, to give them the tour of the new house. It'll be full of boxes. Thanks, Freestyle. Yeah, she's good. I like her a lot, actually. She turned out about how I would want her to turn out. She's been my favorite project that we've been working on for quite a while now. As far as just how much I like her, which is why she got a nicer base. You can always tell if I like a model, because then I will actually want to put the work in to giving it a slightly nicer base instead of going, this one's going wrong. The ones that I'm just Ron's gain. This one's, I don't know. This one, I really like this one, so I don't know. I haven't decided on the fate of Vonsale yet. But I do know the model that we're starting after her, because she only has 2 sessions left, just like Wyvern did. And what we're doing after her is, oh gosh, and I had him, but I've packed, so I don't have my loose stuff that's coming up. It's the guy who is the Tiefling guy, the Tiefling warlock type looking guy. I used him for the Dark Tiefling skin tutorial, and I always remember his name, but I can't remember his name right now. But we're doing him. We're gonna keep going with the weird races, I think, in this slot. So we've got a half orc. So after this, we'll go to the Hellborn Tiefling. Why can I not remember his name? I thought it was another V name. I don't know, Deborah. Usually for me to keep a model, it has to be special in some way. I have to have done something on it that was not, my usual thing. And really, I didn't do anything really fantastic on this model. I mean, I did convert it very slightly. Yeah, Varanus. Yeah, him. Yeah, because I've got the Bones, is it Bones Black of him? It's a really nice, he's in metal, he's kind of problematic because he's such a big slug. I find that I had some heat pitting on my metal one, but I used that for the tutorial, but I also have a nice one that's Bones Black. And I like the sculpt a lot, and he's got a lot of different stuff on him. So I kind of figured I would stick with our demi-human slot here. Oh, dear me. Happy double sub-anniversary. Happy double sub-anniversary. Happy double sub-anniversary. Happy double sub-anniversary. It's hard when you throw the double in it. But I mostly got it. So there we go. Nomad Zeke with the 24 months. The Blue Skull Club, indeed. That's funny. 2 years. Insanity. How have we been doing this for 2 years? How are we still interesting and entertaining after 2 years? Now I know how talk show hosts feel. Like, you know, like these people have been doing their talk show, like Johnny Carson. Like, how long did he run? 30 years? Like, how these people, like, how do you go on and be, like, entertaining every, like, freaking, you know, day or week or whatever? Yeah, I like the double subiversary. Double subiversary. I just have to talk a lot faster. Yep. Dub Sub Club. Yep, Dub Sub Club. That's good. But for singing it, I like subiversary, so I like double subiversary. So I'll just have to say it really fast. I'll have to do the what is it? Man, I haven't been in choir for so long I've forgotten what you call it when you do like quarter beats or half beats instead of the full beat. Like when you cram a whole bunch of stuff, a trill into one beat. But we're doing that because dang it, I did do choir, so I can manage it. 16th notes, yeah, like 8th notes, quarter notes, and 16th notes. Technically, double subiversary, yeah, it would be triplets. I could do it. It's just fast and it's a tongue twister, but that's just fun, right? I could drop the happy from it, but where's the fun in that? Okay, we need to make a choice. That's right. That's what I was thinking last time. I was trying to come up with what color I wanted this circle to be, because I was doing it in white, and then I was thinking that that's right, I was thinking I wanted it to be like the fire circle, because I could just go like magenta, like often like runic glow and things like that are what people use for magic, or blue-white. We could actually go blue-white with it, because she does have like pale blue up here, and that would actually, maybe we'll do a combo. Maybe we'll do the main circle in fire and the runes in light blue. Such choices. Such choices. Hello, Julia Tren. Oh, you usually VOD me? Well, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Yes, yes. We are, as usual, digressing from the point. But anyway, so yeah, so my choices are really, if I want to harmonize with the model, my choices are either going to be a pale blue, which is totally doable for a magic circle, or a fiery color like we did on the cloak, or a combo of both and see how it works. Sometimes if you try to do a combo, it's not as successful because you're trying to sell an illusion. And when you go apart, when you deviate from that illusion, then you're kind of splitting people's expectations, and it doesn't necessarily work as well. It's the same kind of thing you run into, like we're running into on Bronze Golem, where the heat doesn't look like heat anymore because we've put real metallics around it. I actually think like, I mean, the backlit cloak was fun, but it's very simple. Like to execute, it's simple. If you can draw the shapes, it's extremely simple to do that sort of thing. Like, I actually think the front of it was a lot harder because of the glass crystal face and with the face with the tiny little teeth and the black lace on top. I had more conniptions on the front of the mini than on the back. Real metallics, true metallics. I mean, you have to, like, at this point, you can't just say metallics, because people be like non-metallic metallics or true metallics. So it's real metallics. Elfin Death Squad, I have always either sold my models or they go to Reaper. So I have actually a backlog of things to sell right now that I was like I was supposed to sell a couple months ago, and then life got in the way, and I was just like, arg, I just didn't have time to like do this right now, because I was behind on the Patreon for a couple months there, and I was scrambling, and I was just like, arg. So now I've got a bunch of stuff to sell to my patrons, but I also have a bunch of stuff that's all going to Ron. So Reaper, essentially, because I paint all Reaper stuff on here, Reaper is going to get a lot of the stuff from the show. So like, I think I've still got them. Like Juliana here. Oh, let's have a little parade. Let's do a parade here. Parading is fun, right? Right? 1 second. The parade of Ron's new miniatures. This is what we're going to call this. parade of Ron's new miniatures. And we can also include like things like Crimson Herald and I don't know. But everybody who we finished on the show are going to Ron. Here's Ron's new things. Juliana, remember Juliana? Juliana with her herblet. And she turned out really well with her little hedgehogs. Yep, the Parade of Awesome. That's right. This is what we've done this year. What I did for my summer vacation, except what I did for my first year and a half of streaming. So, Juliana goes to Ron. And then Living Statue. Remember Living Statue? Here, we'll zoom out because Living Statue is bigger. Who is turning from skin to stone is going to Ron. So Living Statue also joins the parade. Joins the parade of Ron. And then we'll put up Jeannie. Jeannie is going to Ron. I have to finish her base, but I'll probably finish it at the con. So she's also going to Ron. Ron is all excited about this one, I know. He said she'd look wonderful on his desk. And then we have Dwarf Dude. We can get close again. So the first model we did on Stream in Metallics, so our Dark Dwarf Smiter, he is also going to Ron. And then Monique, our first chibi ever, which means I could have kept her, but I'm fine. She's going to go to Ron. And then finally, Grumpy Cat. Grumpy Cat goes to Ron. I like Grumpy Cat a lot, but... So those guys are all going to Ron. Isn't Ron a lucky guy? But yeah, these guys are all getting packed up. As soon as I get back from visiting my family, these guys get packed up to go to Ron. There we go. I still have a few that we just didn't finish on stream because at that point we weren't kind of doing that kind of thing, or I thought they'd gotten boring. I haven't finished Spirit Beast, and I haven't finished... Pretty much if we don't do it on stream, it kind of sits off there, and maybe I finish it, maybe I don't. Yeah, Grumpy Cat is definitely pretty awesome. I like Grumpy Cat a lot, but again, I try not to keep, like, stuff that I feel like... Like, for me, it has to be a landmark, and this is a habit that started... long ago when the first time I tried to make my living on freelancing and painting miniatures. And at that point, you are trying to eat. So eat and pay rent. So you get in the habit of selling everything. So the only models I let myself keep were essentially landmark models. So my top competition winning model. For a long time, that was the only model I kept. And then when I did another competition model, I kept that one. So pretty much because competition models tend to be landmark models for me because I tend to try to push myself and do new things on them. So, yeah, Julia, I mean, there's like, yeah, there should be a ton of videos. Once you get I have the item numbers, but I didn't grab the cards, and now we'd be seriously off topic if I brought the cards out. Oh, I forgot to put Jeannie back. She's subliminally saying, I don't want to go to Ron! But her fate is sealed. We've done a few more, too, that I just don't... I mean, I'm just, like, kind of meh. Like, I kind of want to finish Dancing Girl and just ship her off to Ron, but I kind of don't feel like working on Dancing Girl. But, yes. So, yeah. So, I keep models that essentially have a meaning for me. And lately, I've just been keeping my competition minis. So, like, my Soldier 76 statue... That was a real landmark for me because I'd never painted anything that was a foot tall before. Certainly not to that standard. And then Sacrifice was my first Crystal Brush entry, so I kept her. I actually kept Rock Troll from this show. I think Rock Troll is the only model I kept from this show because he was my first experiment with, like, super dramatic lighting. And I thought he turned out very successful. He was also my first model that I did just with the wet palette. Also something that I don't normally do. And since he turned out well, and since I really liked how he turned out, I kept him. But I think right now, Rock Troll is the only one The others are question marks. Like Spirit Beast I might keep because I really like her. If I finish her, because I like her water effects. Alrighty, what do I want? I want some pure white to etch in that circle. And I want some blue, just in case I decide to make that a glowy blue circle. And I want my fire red and my sunrise orange, in case I decide to go reddy, orangey, glowy with the circle. Yeah. Hello, Crowley. You missed it, Crowley. We did a review of all the models that I finished that are going to go to ReaperCon for Ron. And those of you who are going to ReaperCon, they will probably, I don't know if they'll be sitting out in front of me or not, at the artist table. Just because I might hand them off to Ron pretty early. But I'll probably ask him what he'd prefer. Like if he wants me to hang on to them till the end of the con, then or just to go and put them on his desk or whatever. So that's cool. It was a parade of minis we actually finished. So let's try. I think I'm not sold on the blue. I really kind of want to introduce some of that orange, but part of me thinks the blue is the best decision here. So yeah, I might have them out in front of me. I'm not sure. Not sure who all I'm bringing yet. Because we're moving. So it's like, we have a week. Guys, we have 8 days in the new house, and then we have to go to ReaperCon. So we, essentially all our miniatures are going to be in disarray. So we'll see how we do it. At the very least, I will bring Templar and Knoll, my 2 busts that I've been working on, because I want to work on them at the con. But yeah, I'm not sure what Ron will want to, but I want to do it like this, which is a bit different than the robe, Crowley. So, but yeah, that's the issue. The orange makes sense because the dress is getting lighter toward the bottom. You know, it's getting that kind of orangey color. So the orange does make visual sense. But the blue is all up top right now, and right now it's the lightest and brightest thing. So putting touches of the blue down below wouldn't be a bad call, but I was thinking of just splitting the difference and doing mostly red-orange, but then some blue. But yeah, anyway, first we should map out our design, and then we should make decisions. So we're going to go 2-to-1 pure white to water, which, although in any other paint would be fairly thinned down, should still give us a fairly solid line with pure white. And this is thin enough to come off nicely off the brush and thick enough to give us a solid line, or a fairly solid line that we can work from. But yeah, so you could go either here. It's probably a better compositional choice to go blue down below, but I'm going to just fill it in and then see if I can have my cake and eat it too. What I probably should consider doing is just intensifying my orange down here, just to get that color element in there, and then just going blue with that. So we're going to use a sharp brush today. We're going to use our Da Vinci Maestro. Notice how I go in streaks. Like, I'll be using the Raphael for everything, and then I switch back to the Maestro for a whole bunch of stuff. It's so funny. All right, so we started etching in this line last time. You can see that I carved it into the green stuff for the big heavy line. The other lines are all just going to be freehand. And we want to paint this in. Ooh, poster putty. Poster putty on the loose, everybody. Blook. Ah, it doesn't want to stick. All right, stay. Get out of my way, poster putty. Yeah, cool. Yeah, doing something like a franchise type figure like Star Wars or something that you really enjoy. That's what Overwatch was for me, was when I was painting my Overwatch statue, because I loved the character and I loved the game, so it definitely motivated me to paint. So if you love Star Wars, then I'm excited for you, Lady Nim. All right, so we're blocking this in. We want to essentially get the green as gone away as we can, although putting blue over the top of this will also help us get rid of that color. Now, one thing we probably do want to stop and do is we want to stop and highlight our stones a little bit. But if this is glowing, it's probably going to cast light onto the stones. So maybe we wait. And this is where you have to ask yourself, you know, how much light does it look like I have in the scene right now? Like, is this brightly lit sunlight, in which case the glow really isn't going to matter much, and I should just highlight the rocks? Or I need to curve this just a little more. Or is this more like twilight or afternoon, where the light is a little softer and I can get away with a bit of a glow here? Just trying to get this circle to imply that it is circling. Yes, correct, Pendrake. I am moving this week. This is my last day, Pendrake. You guys get Mike Disney tomorrow, and then there are other guest painters coming on for while I am gone. The Overwatch statue is Soldier 76, and yes, he is the red, white, and blue big guy who's my painting big avatar. Because at the time, he was the biggest thing I painted, so it seemed suitable. If I ever paint a really big dragon to a really high level, then I will replace Soldier at that point, probably, because at that point I've got something even that I've invested even more emotional effort into. There. There we go. Got a nice solid line, more or less. I can still see a little bit of the green through it, but when we start putting colors on it, it will go away. And now what do I want to do with... I think I am going to highlight these flagstones just a little bit. Yeah, it'll be fine, Mac Balance. We're, I have to call the movers today to confirm and make sure, because I'm always paranoid. And, I mean, it's only about an hour. It's only a mile and a half away from where we are now. So, really, it's just going to be the stress. It's the stress lead up, and then it's the stress of moving day. No, I don't. I'm not a big fan of Argent. He's not my favorite dragon. My favorite dragon is Maldrakar. Let me see here. I think I need some grays to mix with my blues. So I'm going to start with Cloudy. Alrighty. And I decided, as I recall, that I was going kind of brown underneath my stonework. So if I do that highlight, then I need to get that. But let's do some highlight on the stonework. The stonework needs something. But yeah, Maldrakar is my favorite dragon. Maldrakar is the only sculpt that I can recall ever seeing and getting goosebumps when I saw it. So take that, Julie Guthrie. That's high praise there. Tia not, best not. Best, although, I hate that name, though. I hate the Tia name. So, the Tianat name. I like Maldrakar. Mal. Mal is a good, good abbreviation. Very few, Pendrake, because they're a lot of investment, and it's a lot of repetition. It's if you're gonna do one, you really got to do it well, or you've got to do it crappy. And I would never waste the time to do one fast, because I don't paint for gaming, right? I'm not running a game right now. If I was, it would probably be lower level without big dragons in it. Like the only motivator I have to paint right now is to paint to have, so that I have fun, which means painting to a high level, because that's how I have the most fun. That's what I most enjoy, is painting to as high level as I can. So that means dragons are pretty much off the table. That may have been too much blue. I wanted to put a little touch of cyan blue into my gray, because if we're going to do some blue glowies, I want it to be reflected. But I think I may have overblued. We'll see. Yeah, I don't like that name at all, Pendrake. It had been funny for a while, but now it's just copyright infringement. You can cut that part out if you want, Justin. But yeah, I don't like that name. Maldrakar is Maldrakar. What it implies is what I don't like. Yeah, except I wouldn't have any fun doing that, Pendrake. Like, the show works when you're having fun, right? The show doesn't work if Anne is, like, really, really, really unhappy trying to do something. I know you're joking. But yeah. But I love I love the Maldrakar model. That's my favorite dragon, hands down. I have two. I love it so much I have two. I have the actual bones version, and I have the resin version. The other dragon that I can think of that I have is the zombie dragon. What's his name again? It's the other Julie. It's another Julie, but I have the original big resin version, which is much larger than the little version that got released. Here's some unhappy little leather pouches. Yes, exactly. Question. How often do you go backwards in your story to write in a small detail that becomes a major deal later in the story that you didn't originally think about until you had already written it in the later half of the story? Lots. As far as writing goes. Because I do the classic rough draft where you're just spewing it all out, and inevitably you will get a fantastic idea later in the story and realize how a number of things tie together, and then you must go back in the story and add it in. And that is also true for miniatures, where you get a great idea later on, like I didn't know I was going blue with these things really up top, and then you have to go back and add in more of that color because you realize you love that color and it's perfect. And it's nowhere else on the figure. Yeah, another mall. Yeah, I'd have to paint it with a 000. That would take forever, missed him. Forever. Seriously, forever. So it did not blue me out too much. I mixed my cloudy gray with a smear of cyan blue, 9117. And then this is a cyan blue and white, which I'm hoping to use to take this up. I'm going to thin down this gray, though. I put some white in it as well, because I want to do some highlighting on the stones here. So I'm going to grab some white, some water. Because I added white, I do need to add a fair amount of water if I want it to kind of be at the level I like to build it up on stones. Rather than doing a dry brush or a solid stippling, I like to have my paint thinned for stone highlights. So that I can kind of work it up. But yeah, I think a lot of writers do that. Because you're writing, and then you get a great idea, especially when you run into a roadblock. If you're like, how can I make this scene better? Or, so-and-so needs to do this now. How are they going to do it? And you get the idea, oh, that's perfect. And then you're like, ooh, I can foreshadow that earlier. Or it's not so much writing it in, I guess, But you do a lot of, like, almost every writer whose writing book I have ever read, when there's foreshadowing involved. So, like, when a character says something earlier in the story or something happens earlier in the story and then a later thing directly relates to it, whenever there's foreshadowing, like 95% of the time it seems that writers add that in. Like, they get a great idea for later in the story and then they're like, this becomes even cooler if I foreshadow it in this scene. So never think that novels or miniatures spring fully formed from the minds of the creators. And there were supposed to be writers who could do that. Everybody's always got some example of somebody who didn't even need to. And I've still got some green showing through here, and that is annoying me. Where is my carbon gray? Okay, so this is basing and touch up day. Let's rock it. But yeah, so if you're a writer, just write it. Get the book out, spew it out, get it down any way you can, finish it, then go back and make it into the book that you want it to be. And that can be said a lot of the times. That's kind of the mindset behind the blocking in miniatures idea. The people who will just put all the colors down on the wet palette, go through and block the entire thing in really roughly. They aren't planning to keep it that way most of the time. They're going to go back and refine it and make it better. So, but getting all of the rough work out of the way quickly enables them to do that, and then they can, like, relax and have fun and make the mini really good. So there's rough drafts in a rough draft equivalent in almost every creative field, I think. Even if it's just the preliminary sketch. For, like, something like a quilt. Or a painting. Alrighty, so I think I had a bit of other stuff in this carbon gray as well, but we're just gonna, yeah, that's really close to color. I just noticed I had some green leaking green, and I wanted to correct that. So often I will lighten the edges of stones to make them stand out more. Never underestimate how much you can help your basing. I'm going to grab some brown liner actually to line these cracks a little bit. But a lot of people just kind of leave their basing and don't do a lot of work into it. But putting some work into highlighting and shading your basing can really make your model look so much better, even if it's just a simple base like this. So we're using some brown liner to get these cracks figured in. I'm just going to put a little bit of water in that, just like one brush full, because I want it to be fairly dark still. You don't need to thin liner very much, and if you thin it too much, you'll notice that your line gets lighter, and that's intentional, so that if you want a more subtle line, you just have to thin your liner a little bit more. But if you want a darker line, thin your liner just a tiny bit. The point of the liners are you don't need to do much to them, if anything, to get them where you want them. It's kind of the whole point of Master Series. It's not thick and goopy, so that you can get to painting faster without as much work. Like when I go back to other paint lines where they're a bit thicker and I have to thin a lot to get them to the point where I need them to be, it's frustrating to me these days. And those paints you may get better mileage out of on a wet palette. These days, really, for me, if I'm going to go thick at all, I'm just going to go tube paint. I'm just going to go all the way and say, to heck with it, we're whipping out the tube paint. And so doing little details, getting these little cracks and things kind of filled in a bit and shaded so that you can see them. Especially when you did something like I did where I sculpted the base, doing a bit of paint work to bring out all those sculpted details is a good idea. And usually it just takes a little bit of shading and highlighting. My light is a little bit too light, but we'll just deal with it. And the very simplest way to get all these flagstones and everything to stand out is to highlight the edges. And you do see in flagstones where they tend to wear in the middle often a little bit more in very old stones, wherever people were stepping and moving, or where water was pooling after rainfalls and stuff like that, if it's exposed to the air. But yeah. Mostly, though, you just want your little details to stand out. So I'm going to go back and forth between kind of my carbon gray, my brown liner, and my lighter gray. I am going to take my brown liner and kind of paint a really dark rim around this the stone areas, though. I want to set them off. Started to do this the other day, but I think they can get even more separated out. The darker a shadow you put here, the more the stone is going to look like it's standing up from the up and out away from the earth. So see how that shadow really makes that edge stick out? I like tube paint for just painting. Knoll is tube paint. Scale 75 tube paint. I still use Master Series for 99% of my painting. That one just implies that that stone is all crumbled away. Put a line in there. Let's put a dark, dark shadow down here. So these stones were laid down on top of a dirt foundation, and then now it's a ruin, so we want those bits of stone to stand out from the rest of it. Oh, heating them up. With the tomatoes. You're speaking of things that are poisonous to Anne, so I cannot relate. But it's interesting. I mean, roasting definitely brings out flavor because it reduces the water, right? So I wonder if you heated them up enough that they kind of melted down or burst and their water went out. I don't know. Hey Luther, how's it going? This is my last show for a week. I'll be back next week, Tuesday, assuming the internet in the new place works. David has been doing his utmost to try to ensure that it will work. So the only reason you would not see me next Tuesday would be if something has gone dreadfully wrong. So we'll see, but I also want to shade pretty heavily in this little nook that I left in here. Ah! You can tell it's a metal mini when it makes that noise. So yeah, this little nook down in there that you can see through. I actually want a bit of dark shadow in there. Yeah, I'm just moving, Luthar. I just have to take the week off. It's just coincided this way with the house closing, like with finding the house that we wanted and the way the offer thing all worked. And there was, if it had been a little bit off-timed, then we wouldn't have been able to go to ReaperCon because we would have been closing on our house. But as it is, we are moving. I am doing a family trip this week because I haven't seen my brother and his kids for like over 2.5 years, and one of them, my niece, is going off to college this fall, so it would be nice to see her before she disapparates, if you know what I mean, and like goes off and gets her own life for a while. I know how that goes. Probably because grapes burst, because they've got so high water content. I don't know how cherry tomatoes relate to grapes. never been a big fan of tomatoes, so it was not like a huge crisis when I found out they were like essentially poisonous to Anne. All right, so we've got a nice shadow, nice dark. Can you see how that brings that stony, makes the stone stand up and out, and it really does make it look like it's a concrete layer, haha. Not concrete, really it's natural flagstones, but I was thinking slate, but yes. But it's a layer that sits on top of the cork, and now that shadow lets you really strongly suggest that. Now we're going to work that shadow more into our basing and kind of, make sure it's not just a dark stripe as we go on, but it's good to have that there to remind us that's what we want to do, to block that out. And it also gives us a nice kind of a threshold to highlight up to. Yep, brown liner. Oh no. Or you could have had a chance, Luthar. They sold out super fast. Don't kick yourself too much. And remember, you can always still walk around and ask all of us questions. And you should. You should take advantage of your ticket to accost the instructors. Well, not in an offensive way or anything. But you should ask us questions. And if you missed out on one of our classes, you should, say, I missed out on your blah class. Can you give me a couple of quick tips on blah that might help me? By the way, if you come to us and ask questions, one thing that many of us will ask you, and something that will help us give you a lot better advice, is if you bring a model that you tried the thing on. So if you're like, I do not understand colors, here is a model that I painted recently where I feel I really did not get the color scheme right. What is wrong with it? Things like that. I'll just throw them back, Mac. Yeah, liners, some liners, most liners are dark, not all of them are. The lighter liners are good for lining lighter colors, because sometimes you want a line for a cold or icy thing, and I think the Rogue liner is like that. If it's a lighter color than usual liner, that's what it's really good for. But yeah, so if you're going to come to ReaperCon and you're going to ask us for input, which you absolutely should, because that's part of your ticket, is access to us. Do bring one of your models with you so that we can see what level you're at. Because you can tell us what level you're at, but it won't be really evident to us until we see your work. And also, you guys often underrate yourselves, like, as all of us do. So you'd be like, oh, I'm not very good at X, or I'm not very good at Y. And we look at your model and we're like, what are you talking about? You're great at X, or you're perfectly fine at Y. So bringing one of your models with you when you're asking for tips so that we can get an idea of what level you're at really helps us. Because otherwise my first question is probably going to be something like, or my first feedback is going to be something like, okay, I don't know if you can do layering yet, but you could do this, right? But if you hand me a model, I can see exactly where you are. And then I'm like, oh, you are, you're pretty good at layering so far. So let's, that means this is open to you as an option for getting better, stuff like that. My favorite is Death Knight. Death Knight Black. That's my favorite new liner. Hello, Dave Dog. Luthar, what usually happens is that Artist Alley is kind of like right next to the open painting area. So we have a bunch of rows of tables that are blocked off for Artist Alley. And then right next to it, like the huge hall, is all open painting. So but painting like near us, like what we'd rather people not do is we'd rather you not camp out like in front of us. Like, if you're getting a quick demo, awesome. If there's a chair nearby, which sometimes there are, pull one up. But what we don't want is somebody camping out for like half an hour in front of us when other people other people, because people are so nice at ReaperCon, if somebody is camped in front of an artist, the other people won't break in. They'll be afraid to, they'll think they're interrupting something. So that's why we ask people, hang out with us for like 15, 20 minutes, get a tip, get a demo, get a whatever. If other people come up though, be cool. Like, let them get some time. It's in the fast palette. I think it's in, I think Quindy said the fast palettes were actually open. Bergala with the Prime sub, 3 months. Thank you. Thank you. You are at your quarter subiversary. We do not have a song for that one. I only sing for the subiversary and the double subiversary. Haha, no problem, Twisted Oma. Apparently your mouse was too much like a real mouse. So what I'm doing right now, guys, I'm taking that liner, and see how I'm lining it around the hem of the dress, and this helps to kind of create a micro shadow that will separate the dress out from the basing. So it makes sure, because I had to putty like right up to the edge of it. So this reinforces the fact that, yeah, they are two separate things. There is actually a demarcation line there. It just might be very small. You can see how they kind of run together a little bit back here. So putting that little bit of lining in, again, with a 28mm model, really helps you crisp things up. Cool, Julia. That would be great. Yeah. I mean, have you been to other conventions or never have been to a gaming or painting convention? Just going to keep on lining around this edge here. This is all part of basing. Like, it's just integrating parts of the basing and pushing other things away from parts of the basing. It's all finishing work to do on your base. So if you've just been putting your base down and leaving it there, no way, man. You gotta do more than that. Comic-Con ones? Yeah, Comic-Con is like crazy. It's like very different. It's like BlizzCon is very different too. ReaperCon feels like Comic-Con feels like a city, and ReaperCon feels like a small town where everybody loves the same hobby you do. So, okay, the fast palettes haven't been split out yet. Right, okay. But the fast palettes themselves are available. Like, if you wanted to buy the fast palette, you could. Am I right on that, Quindy? The one with Death Knight Black in it? The Glooming Grave? Glooming Grave, the one that I'm telling everybody to buy? Yeah, if you've only been painting like less than a month, you should be able to get a lot out of ReaperCon, Julia. Oh, they haven't been split up from the slide. Thank you. Thanks for the clarification. Yeah, so they'll come, guys. They'll come. They'll be coming. But yeah, welcome to the painting hobby, the addiction. Welcome to the addiction. But yeah, probably my best piece of advice for you, Julia, is never be afraid to ask questions. No matter how simple you may feel they are, how elementary or how beginner, and no matter how advanced the person you are looking at or watching paint is. All of us love to talk to and encourage beginners in the hobby. People at ReaperCon are super friendly and awesome, and that includes the instructors and the sculptors. Sculptors, painters are all instructors. We generally have a fantastic community, which I'm very proud of. Alrighty. So now I'm going to start adding some shadows in where I've kind of put different layers of stone down. Well, just speak your mind. If you're watching somebody do something and you're like, well, how do you do that? And they say, well, what part of it? Then maybe they can help you find that. Like, if you ask me a question, but you're not quite sure how to ask it, I mean, just open with, okay, so I'm newbie and I have no idea how to phrase my question here, but I'm looking at how you're doing that and how are you doing that? Like, if you were talking to a total noob, which is what I am, how would you explain what you're doing? Like, in the simplest terms. And then we could probably figure it out. I mean, we were beginners too, you know. Like, do not be afraid to come up and tell people I am so brand new to the hobby, like I was born yesterday. Like, it's fun. You're at the super fun time of your hobby existence. Like, where everything is new and everything is crazy awesome and everything looks fantastic and you can't wait to paint XYZ and the other 1,000 things you saw this morning. You know, it's fantastic when you start a new hobby and you're in that mode. Don't worry, don't get overwhelmed with how much there is to learn. Just take it at your speed. Everybody's been new. But yeah, I love it when people come up and they give me a whole, you know, I am brand spanking new and I have no idea what you're doing right now. Please tell me what you're doing right now. In newbie terms, what are you doing? Because right now, I am just painting lines where lines are sculpted. And the reason I would do that is to make them stand out more so that you can see the details on the sculpt. Great. Awesome, Julia. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some more beginner stuff as well coming up. So this part, guys, I sculpted as recess. See where the crumbling stone is? Where this flagstone is broken down. And I'm shading that to bring out that area. She's obviously like written with her chalk like over that area, so I still have the white line there, but bringing out the little details that I sculpted, it kind of gives me extra details to break up this stone. That's why I did it this way. Also, it tends to be how slate like kind of goes, right? It kind of has areas of wear, upper and lower chips and stuff. I don't think I have a video on green stuffing bases, but you have a couple of options, Turgeon. I mean, you honestly could, you don't need to use green. Like, if I was going to do Pirate Lady here, say, you could have used like stuff like gravel and flock and glue it down to hide the rim. So if you were going to glue her onto this round base, you know, it's got a little bit of a recessed rim as it is, I would glue her down. And if I didn't have green stuff or want to mess around with it, I would take like gravel, static grass, or flocking, and I would just glue, you know, make a puddle of glue around this base. And I would just add that right on. And there is enough height to most basing materials that they can, especially if you make the glue go up onto the rim, that they would hide this rim. You know, here you might want to do gravel. Or you might want to have the grass and the gravel go all the way up onto this base to hide the fact that there's a base under it. But the other thing, and actually I was going to talk about this today, I don't know if we'll get to it, but if you have static grass, like not the tufts, but like old school static grass where it's all in a bag, you can build up clumps of it by just doing another layer on top, and that will effectively hide this sort of thing. So, yeah, I did not advise cutting off the broccoli base unless it's a bones, and even then, I feel like that kind of like just invites bending. I just learned to disguise it with putty. For one thing, disguising it with putty or building up a putty raises the model up like we did with her. She had a base. She had an integral base. And I just chose to green stuff around it. I like put it on here and green stuffed around it. And it adds height to the miniature, which makes the miniature look cooler. Whenever you can put the mini up a little higher on the base, it tends to look a lot better than when it's just flat on the base. Like if she was up on top of a railing or a ship, you know, a pile of like chests or whatever on her ship, she would look cooler than if she was flat on the floor like she is here. So yeah, that's, if you've got access to those materials like a belt sander, that works great, Valendar. Oh, okay. Did somebody ask about wings? Yeah, thanks, Big Apple. Yeah, I've done a wyvern and a sphinx, and that we did very natural wings, feathered wings on the sphinx, except for the blue. Um, we did very, very natural wings. So there's a lot of wing stuff on the sphinx videos. And then the wyvern is all stripy and more, you know, fantastical. And of course, it's more bat wing. It's still doable. But yeah, so, I mean, essentially work with the tools you've got, Turjan. I am. Today is my last day, Dogfather. I just have a Monday because I don't start really getting my hands sunk into everything tomorrow. So, and then I'm off for 1 week and I'll be back next Tuesday. And Mike Disney will be on this show tomorrow, so you should all, like, you know, support him. Come and hang out with him as he is doing, I think, his first ever Reaper show, right? Suffering with your succubus. That's fine. You could always go back and watch the VOD if you want to, Dogfather. It's all good. Hey, we've got people here. We're hanging out. We're having fun. It's all good. 1 second. I'm going to lighten up my carbon gray a little bit by adding a bit of my lighter gray. Because I want kind of more of a light color with that. So the colors we are working with right now, again, are these. It's carbon gray with a little bit of this added in. This is cloudy gray with some cyan blue and a tiny touch of white. This is brown liner. So those are the colors we're currently working with. Yeah, green oaks. I mean, I like to make the skin color also the wing color, but you don't have to do it. Sometimes it also works if you take the whatever color the wings struts are and kind of start with that color and blend it out into the skin color on the outside edge. That can help. Without seeing the model, I can't like give you specifics, but yep, exactly, Twisted Oma. You will whatever befalls us, you will see us at ReaperCon. Hopefully everything goes great. I'm a little nervous about flying to see my family, just because it seems like there's been so much crazy on the airlines lately. All right, so essentially did a little wet blend there with my lighter gray and my darker gray. And I really like that look, so I think I'm going to continue with that. So I'm laying down my darker gray in just like a big brush stroke right up next to the line there. Then bringing in a little bit of my lighter gray and blending the two while they're wet. I can bring in a little more dark gray if I want to blend that edge in. You never quite get as dark as you would like or as light as you would like. Oh, there we go. Basing for tabletop. Excellent. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different levels for basing. And, I mean, some folks really adore basing. I kind of think it's fun. So I tend to spend a little more time on it. I like to spend a little more time on it. I think that if you're going to put the effort into putting a nice paint job on a figure, that it deserves a nice base also. So see how making just that little bit of an edge, a highlight, and blending it in makes these stones, like, look at the difference, like, between here where we're all blah and here where we're really coming into relief. I need to do my stretch break, I know, so I'll do that in just a sec, but I'm going to get a little bit lighter even down in this crack here. So the slate down here, the crumbled slate, is, I'm going to keep it a little darker, but I want to bring in a little bit, there's a little bit of texture in there, like bits and pieces of it, because it's crumbled stone. So I'm going to bring in just a little bit of highlight here and there, maybe a couple of stipples to figure out those little bits. And this is where having a really, really fine brush can help you. If you have good brush control, you can just kind of pick out some little details. And then there, we've brought it up just a little bit, but it's still a little darker, so it looks a little more sunken. Yeah, it's not even like COVID that makes me nervous. It's that people seem to be getting really short-tempered on airplanes or outright nuts lately. And so I'm like, please no crazy on the airplane. I don't mind wearing a mask. I don't, I'm not nervous about that part of it, but I am nervous about some of the levels of craziness that I've read about. Of course, the media all cherry pick all the craziest stories, so I have to remember that. It's not all crazy out there right now. Most people are just flying because they have to, or they really want to go and see their families and things like that. Yeah, so yeah, that's what we want. We want like some part of the stone, even if the stone is staying dark. I still want a bit of that contrast, a little bit of lighter stone up against the dark. I'm taking advantage of having my dark gray mixed to block in, so you can still see some of the green stuff. There's a hint of green under some of this. So now's a good time to block that in before you put a little bit of a highlight on it. There. But yeah, the bottom line with miniature painting is you want all the details to stand out. So do what if you do a technique that allows the details to stand out, you are probably doing it right. Yeah, now before I could actually get away with doing road trips when I was in Texas because, you're more central. But now that I'm way out here on the west, it's like road tripping anywhere. It becomes a super like multi-day trial, and you're just like, wow. I guess I'm flying. I've been lucky because I've been, in the middle of the country for most of my life, and so the flights are shorter, and you have the option of road tripping it, and you can usually, do it in a day if you're feeling hardcore, now it's like I am out in the boonies on the west. I must fly unless I can afford to, put multiple days into a road trip. It's a little bit of a shadow that I sculpted there. Oh yeah, see, that's so you get it then, Miss Dim. Yeah, that's my concern. Is people they've gotten very short tempered, and I think that the bottom line has to be like let's treat each other with respect and and love, because it's like everybody's suffering through this, right? It's not just one person. So hopefully everything goes great. I personally will be keeping a positive attitude. And hey, it'll be a flight. I have time to sit and work on Patreon PDFs, right? I don't know. I actually did the drive from when I lived out in Maryland, Dave Dog. I did the drive home to Wisconsin and back to Maryland. And I was like north of Baltimore. That was like a 16-hour, 14 or 16-hour. But it was doable. Like, it was doable. But the west of the country is just so far out. Oh, look at that. Oh, Zambies, thank you for the renewal. Happy half a subiversary. All right. Actually, it is stretch time, isn't it? Okay, so guys, let's see here. Can I leave? I am going to tilt her up. Let's see. Do I have anything I can use to tilt the mini up? I would like to tilt the mini up. I guess I'm going to have to lay the mini down and just focus on her. We'll put her on we'll give her a pillow. Pillow and focus. There we go. And then we'll let her, She wants to slide. I will let her sit, and you guys can look at her while I do my stretches. So yeah, I hope you're doing well, Zambus. This is my last stream for a little while, as I'm moving out for a little bit. Yeah, but people have also been awesome, Kerniko. Like, we have to remind ourselves of that, right? Like, our human brains tend to notice the bad things more than the good things, and that's why the media does that stupid thing where they put all this alarmist crap up. But, we have to remember that there have also been all sorts of awesome things done by people to help each other during this time. So focus on that, guys. Focus on the happy, because there's a lot of happy out there. I mean, we've supported each other through this whole thing, right? Like when I started my stream out here, when I moved out here, that was just at the beginning, and we've like kept each other like cheered up and talked food and done all that awesome stuff all through this year and a half. So focus on the awesome. Don't let the turkeys get you down. Oh, you just got done moving, Zambies? Thank you. It's a very short move. It's just stressful till you're in the new place, you know. Like, you keep wondering if it's going to go okay. Yeah, I've done that one too, Alphin, because my parents snowbird, so they are out in Arizona during the winter, and I have done that drive before to visit them. I switched it to a 2-day after that one brutal time. Because I had friends in Santa Fe, so I would just drive to Santa Fe one day for the 8 hours and then do the 7 hours the next day. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting too darn old to do 16 or 18-hour road trips, right? Or at least I appreciate comfort too much to do it. That's funny, Kerniko. Yeah. Oh, from Florida back to the Midwest. Wow. That's impressive. We're in the Midwest. Are you in my old neck of the woods, like Wisconsin, Illinois, or are you elsewheres? Or do you not want to say? If you don't want to say, that's fair too. I'm not trying to stalk you, I swear. Okay, Chicago area. Yay! Yeah, my parents still live just over the border in Wisconsin from Chicago. We're halfway between Chicago and Milwaukee. All right, I'm going to go and stretch just for a moment. And when I come back, we'll resume. Alrighty. Da da da. Yeah. You totally need to stretch if you're going to do that long road trip. Like, I can do it. I'm just very uncomfortable, and I have to have back support. I have to have my back pillow in the car. Woof. Wow. That's too bad. Well, at least it happened at the gate area. Good. Thanks. That makes me feel better, Turgeon. You read all this stuff about crazy people on airplanes, and I'm just like, please no crazy, because I'm nervous about flying anyway. Like, I have been. Like, starting in my teenage years, I think, I started getting nervous about flying. And I normally just am able to ignore it, like, especially if I'm flying a lot, but I haven't flown for a while now, so. So being just that little bit nervous about flying, and then like reading about like people getting really kind of crazy on planes is just like not a recipe for you know, sleeping well or feeling good about your trip. I think I've got a little bit too much paint on my brush there. That'll be better. So now we'll take this really crumbly area and kind of try to bring out some of these little edge details. I do have a little bit too much paint on my brush. Oh, and we need to refocus. Let's refocus. Refocus first here. And, oh, still unfocused. Still unfocused and now crooked. Fine, camera, fine. Be that way. There we are. Much better. Alrighty. But yeah, the road trips, now our road trips are shorter. I really enjoyed road tripping down the coast earlier this year with David. And that was, you know, that's doing like 4 or 6 hours. It's not bad at all. And it's super pretty country too. So here we just got to kind of pay attention for little details in the stone and try to accentuate what we see. And that's the thing here. You're not inventing stuff. You're just kind of paying attention to any texture that's there and emphasizing it. And if you have a base that's like got no texture, think about doing some random stipples or something to give it some texture. Alrighty. So like I left some tool marks. And this is why when you're doing green stuff on bases, leave a little bit of rough if you're doing stone. Leave a bit of roughness. Don't take away all of your artifacts. Even leave a couple. Like I've got a couple little like kind of crumbly strokes here. It can give you ideas for when you're painting it, how to just introduce some kind of randomized texture to make your stone look nicer and more interesting. And not like your stone is ever going to overwhelm your mini, and you certainly don't want it to, but you also don't want it to be just sitting there. You want it to look nice, see? Like so. So when you look at the mini and the whole thing, the stone is understated, but at least you can see there's been some effort that's been put into it. Yeah, right, Karinico. Yeah, going down the California coast is kind of like that. There's definitely a fast way to drive down California and a slow way to drive down California. And I really wanted to take the coast road and do the long drive on Highway 1. So we did that earlier this year. We didn't even get down to LA. We got down to St. Louis Obispo, which is not all the way, but it was a really nice drive. But yeah, it took a while because that's a very much slower highway, and you go through some towns rather, a lot of little places that you drive through. It was really fun. I don't think dogs are better than people. I just think that they are, like, at least as good as people. Yeah, the California coast is pretty darn beautiful, Karinico. Like, the thing that I didn't realize about out here, because you always see all these beautiful sunlight-drenched pictures, but it's actually pretty cold. Because the ocean is so cold. It's part of what keeps everything temperate. But you don't realize when you see those pictures how chilly it can be. Like how much the temperature drops when you're near the coast out here. It's not like Florida where like it's so warm, right? That was the most surprising thing to me. The thing that I always had to remind myself is, hey, we're going to be near the ocean, but I also need to bring my jacket because we're going to be near the ocean. See, I knew I liked Zambies because, you know, anybody who's got a shepherd is good people. I won't get my new doggo for a little while, but eventually. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of my lightest gray and just kind of do a little bit maybe of edge highlighting here. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so cute. That shepherd face is super cute. Gotta love them. Yeah, I miss mine. Kiri passed away. I know you probably know Zambies this past winter. So I am dogless. No doglet, but we are, now that we have a house, I am stalking my friends who are shepherd breeders. So probably end of next year. That's the kind of shepherd I like. Turgeon. Leo was 100 pounds. My old shepherd. But I like Shilohs. They tend to be big. Hopefully, she had puppies and contributed to our gene pool Zambies. So I actually am talking to a breeder who has a Kiri great-granddaughter. So I could get a Kiri great-great-granddaughter or son. Well, we want to do some traveling, Thormel, so David and I want to go maybe to World Expo next year, so it'll probably be later next year, but that's fine. I mean, I do miss Kiri so much, but I can wait. Your last shepherd's name is Leo, too. Yeah, 300 had come out when we got Leo. And so when we were looking for a name, I knew that my significant other at the time would totally go for that name, Leonidas. But yeah, so I'm really excited about getting a Kiri descendant. It's kind of the cool thing about being involved with a good breeding program. Yeah, exactly, Kuriko, right. 5 layers of clothing, exactly, at the beach. Yeah, I'm planning. I didn't want too long of time to go by. I kept some of Kiri's things so that I would have a head start on supplies for a pup, but I want the right dog. Like, I'm a temperament tester for our breed, so like I assess 8-week-old puppies and also adults for do their temperament testing and stuff. So the problem with that is you know so much and you have a very specific idea in mind of what you would like in a dog, like really like in a dog. And just on the off chance that this is maybe my last big dog, right? Because I'm not getting younger. I want to make sure I get like the temperament that I want in a puppy, so I'm willing to wait for that. Yes, exactly. Everybody will be like, you guys will get puppy cam. You'll finally get puppy cam. Kiri was never a fan of cameras, so I could rationalize that you didn't get a puppy cam when Kiri was around, but this puppy will be so traumatized by cameras. All right, so we got some nice highlighting going on here. Just a little bit, and I'm still keeping it dark, notice, around our glowy circle. Which will, but I want to get all this work. You can see why I want to get all this work done, the underpinning work done first before we jump in and, do this magic circle and all the runes and everything. So we've got some stuff to work on. We don't have to worry about highlighting underneath the runes, which is never a good idea. All that kind of thing. But yeah, hold on. Doom, doom. All photos. Hold on. Zoom back through the years. There we go. So this is our big horse. This was Leo with me when I was fatter. So Leo was 100 pounds. Our Leo was 100 pounds. And he was a monstrous dog. He was a small horse. It looked a lot bigger because he was so fluffy. He was extremely fluffy. Yeah, with the new baby, a puppy cam is a must for sure. There will be much cuteness. I'll figure it out. I'll get a splitter. We'll have to split my face cam and my puppy cam. Reaper Dave might have to start watching the streams if there's a puppy. Although Dave might also already watch my streams. I'm not sure. I know his wife Vicky liked to watch my streams when I started them. There's a little crack that I forgot to highlight there. So we can kind of leave a little bit. Yeah, Leo was a good dog. He was more Zach's dog than my dog. Curie was my dog. No, I'm actually my favorite coat with the Shiloh Shepherd, which is what Leo and all my past dogs have been that I've owned as an adult, is that I don't like the long coat version. I actually prefer the short coat version, the traditional Shepherd coat often. So I actually have found, like, after owning a very heavily coated dog, I did not enjoy it. It's kind of stressed me out, all the grooming. So I much prefer the very, very easy wash and wear coat of the smooth coated Shiloh. So yeah, Newfies are right out. They're sweet dogs, but they're also not. I mean, the Flock Guardian breeds are bred for more independence, and they tend to be a little less trainable. I like a dog that's really trainable. This is why I tend to gravitate toward herding breeds. Can't beat some of the Newfies and the Pyrenees and the Saint Bernards for sweet temperament, though. There's just some very sweet tempered dogs in the Flock Guardian breeds. Hello, Jelly. I'm sorry your life has been insane, unless it's been insane in a good way. Then congratulations. Yeah, Leo is as close to a Newfie as I'd ever want to be. But keeping their coats from matting and, everything is just, I like my shepherd girls and boys that are a little bit more easy to care for. Yeah, that's why I like my breed. We're trying to we're really focused on health. Luckily the Shiloh lifespan is pretty good to start with, so we're trying to keep it good. Oh no, I'm sorry, Jelly. I'm sorry that it hasn't been a good crazy. There we go. We only have one little panel left. But there, we just took a bit of liner, accentuated a couple of cracks that I had sculpted on, or that had been left accidentally by my tool when I was sculpting the green. I think I want to break up this one, actually. I probably put too much time into, like, my basing. But I really enjoy it. I don't know, Omega. I've had the opposite experience. All of my dogs have lived, like, pretty much to the breed's maximum lifespan, and they were on kibble. I mean, we gave them some nice toppers. We always we used some Greek yogurt and chicken and egg cooked for them and stuff like that. But everybody's experience is different. Both of my dogs live to almost 12. And for a shepherd, the big shepherd, 100-pound, 80 to 100-pound shepherd, that's quite good. That's about our breed's lifespan. Pretty happy with that. Pretty happy. I mean, you always wish you get more time, right? But can't complain when you get a big dog that lives to 12 or very close. Yeah, but they were like, Kiri was getting blind and her rear end was in, she had some arthritis and all that kind of thing. There's sometimes I think that living long can be great as long as you've got a good, good quality of life, right? Yeah, I have friends who swear by raw feeding and all the rest of it. When you've been in dogs for a very long time, I think you get a very good look at a lot of different philosophies. Here we go. Got a little bit lighter there. Want to bring that edge out. Oh yeah, if you asked, yeah, this is going to be kind of a ritual circle jelly. So it's just I made the back of the base kind of drop off a bit. But yeah, we're going to do it magical. I just realized that I needed really to get these rocks figured out and blocked in before we started trying to paint special runes and stuff. So yeah, I want the outside edges here to be a little lighter so the details come out. Missed a little spot there. So we'll get to our ritual circle next time. We'll probably be able to finish the base next time, I'm thinking. There we go. Get this going on. All right, I think that is pretty good. Painted the Tomb of Annihilation Stone Juggernaut. Yep. Neat, Jelly. That's cool. That's funny, Korniko. Yeah, exactly. You just want to get, so it's not just flat. And now the base is looking much more in line with like the quality of the figure, right? So we will also do some work on the stones and the earth here. Down at the bottom here, I'm thinking about mounding up some grass like I was telling you guys about. So doing multiple layers of static grass buildup to kind of give kind of a three-dimensional appearance instead of, it's something you can do on a flat plastic base to make it look more 3D. That doesn't take anything more than super glue and static grass or regular glue and static grass, depending upon your tastes. But yeah, so there we go. And I think we're pretty good. I'm going to have to use if you get paint up on like kind of the black plastic rim and you want it to stay black, you can always just use your fingernail real light to scrape it off. Nothing is, there we go. If I get a little green stuff there, then I might have to paint over it. But if you're just touching up a little bit with black paint, chances are no one will notice. Okay, guys, I think we're pretty good. We started about 5 minutes in. We are ending about 5 minutes out, and that's great. It's Cork. Yeah, it's go ahead and look at her. Here's her item number. You should be able to always search our YouTube or our VODs by item number. I think it was a couple of episodes ago for Vonsley, so it might be like 3 weeks ago or so. But if you look up her episodes, Thormel, yeah, we did cork and then green stuff. And I talk a bit about how to work with cork, and then we did like the green and did the flagstone pattern and all that kind of thing. It's not too hard, so hopefully that works. Yes, I'll be out. Just for those of you who are new or came in late, I am moving and also taking a short trip to visit my family for the first time in eons. So I will be out for 1 week. I will be back a week from tomorrow, so next Tuesday. And fingers crossed, assuming our internet works, we'll be in the new house, new studio. It might look a bit bare at first. I'm gonna try to get everything set up, but the first few days might be a little bit bare. Yes, everything cool. Yeah, I'm going to Wisconsin to visit my family, and then we're moving just across town. So, yep. You'll have to show the cats VODs. Yep, you'll have to run to VODs. That's absolutely it, Kerniko. But yeah, remember, Mike Disney will be on in my place. John has also lined up a bunch of other artists this will be their first appearance on our Reaper network. So yeah, still tune in, guys. Still tune in. We'll have people on for you. But yeah. All right, yeah, moving us. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed everything makes it intact and I recover my sanity. The nice thing about a move is that you get to reset your painting area, right? So you totally get to like start with a clean slate, and it only gets cluttered up as you go. So yes, yeah, it's been pretty nice here. It's been mid-70s, so it should be nice. And we're hiring movers because we have some heavy stuff and neither one of us needs to put out our back. So yeah. Yes, and do not forget to tune in this afternoon for Rhonda's show, Beyond the Brush. Her blog also, birdwithabrush.com, has been great. She's been talking a lot about competition models and tuning them. So if you're working on your ReaperCon entry still, go and give those a read. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'll miss you all for a week, and I will see you next Tuesday. All right? Have a great one, guys. Bye-bye.